Srinivasa Sundararaghavan. Sai, are you shying away from recognizing the universal values in Indian civilization by equating it with Western tendency to universalize their particulars?
I'm assuming you're making these points on the basis of a certain genius sitting on Twitter who's equating decoloniality with moral relativism. No, that's not what I'm saying. My position is that when you say Sanatana and when you also make the claim that there is a certain degree of universalism, obviously I'm going to make the statement that we have certain values which are universal. I'm not going to shy away from that particular position at all. But you have to understand that when you make this particular statement, you have to ask yourself, are you going to adopt the Western model to impose your values on others? That's equally a question that you have to ask yourself. That's point number one. Point number two, I think it's extremely premature to talk of universalizing our own values in the rest of the world when we are not able to apply those values within your own country. First, let's set our house in order. Okay, then let's enter this theoretical abstract realm of whether we must universalize this in the rest of the world. विश्व गुरु की बात बाद में करते हैं, पहले भारत के तो गुरु बन जाए, उसके बाद हम देखेंगे बात की बात करेंगे. So I am not shying away from the universalist validity of or the universal validity of our values. I'm never going to make that particular statement, and it is not my case that everything is equally valid. I'm simply saying that every culture has the right to its own agency, and therefore whether it wants to adopt our values or not will ultimately be dependent on a certain dialectical exchange. So for instance, even within our own country, Adi Shankaracharya certainly did not agree with the Buddhist philosophy. So what was his way of going about it? As opposed to converting people through giving them attractive offers or inducing them with something or the other, he actively debated, and then he said, now accept defeat, that your school of thought may not rise up to my school of thought. That was his way of argument with Mandana Mishra. And who was the judge of that particular debate? It was Mandana Mishra's wife, who actually presided over that particular debate and ultimately declared Adi Shankaracharya to be the victor. So I'm more than comfortable universalizing our values, but I will certainly ask myself if I want to take the same colonizing, civilizing mission as the West, which I will never subscribe to. Because what you think is wrong on the part of the Western society to universalize its philosophy through a colonization project, I will certainly make the same statement that we should not undertake a colonization project, but we should certainly take up a project of creating a sphere of influence wherein your values have sanctity, protection, and conviction. And you also hope that the way you conduct yourself and the way you propagate your values invites more people to join your fold. So for instance, you need not undertake, and you have not undertaken a colonization project to create Hindus in Russia, to create Hindus in Europe, to create Hindus in New Zealand or in America. All of them have come to you not because you decided to adopt the path of Islam or the path of Christianity, but simply because of the spiritual depth of your tradition. So you will hope that when you present the facts and the reality of your tradition, then the right people with their hearts in the right place will eventually understand the value behind your tradition and choose your sampradayas. That is your way of universalizing your universalist values. Therefore, I end my position with the point that believing in the universalism of your values is one thing, but using colonization as the means to impose it on others is another thing. One cannot be equated with the other, and hopefully belief in the former does not translate to belief in the latter. That's my position.
Okay.